Hello, welcome to my channel Craftastic DIYs. In this video I'm going to share with you some awesome Halloween DIYs that aren't spooky. This video is part of a collaboration called Not So Scary Halloween Challenge. The hosts of this challenge are Krista from Krista's Crafty Life and Janice from Craftastic DIYs. I will have links to their channels as well as a link to the playlist of all of the videos in the collaboration down in the description box. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, for this first project, I am going to be making a busted canvas. I am taking this canvas that I got from Dollar Tree. I had already used it for something else, but now I no longer want that picture, so I'm going to be using it for this project. And then I'm going to use a piece of cardboard that I've cut to fit the size of this canvas. You could also use one of the other canvases they have that's not on the wooden frame as your backing if you want to, but cardboard's free. Okay, so I'm taking a piece of orange scrapbook paper and I'm going to use Mod Podge to adhere it to the back side of the canvas. This is the part that is going to show once I cut the canvas and roll the pieces back. To adhere the orange paper to my canvas, I'm just going to use some Mod Podge. Don't want to give it, put it on too thick. You want to have a nice good coat so that way it sticks entirely onto the canvas. Whenever you cut it apart and roll it, you don't want there to be any places where the paper isn't attached. You could also paint the back side of it. You could use a pattern paper, use whatever suits how you want your canvas to come out, your busted canvas to come out. Okay, and now I'm going to take this piece of purple scrapbook paper and I'm going to put that onto my piece of cardboard. I'm just tracing it and then going to cut it to size. And I will also be using the Mod Podge to attach this scrapbook paper onto the cardboard. Once again, you want to make sure that you have it all nice and covered. This part isn't going to be rolled back or anything, so it doesn't matter so much if you don't have it, covered real well, but you do want to make sure that you have enough on there that your paper sticks to the cardboard. Just use my hands to smooth it out. There are several different methods you could use to adhere the paper to your surface, but this way works just fine for me. I just trimmed my paper down. And now I'm going to measure out the size I need to cover the front of my canvas. I'm using a polka dotted, it's black paper and then it has different color polka dots on it. And I want this to wrap around the sides of the canvas as well. So that's why I cut it a little bit larger. And then I'm going to just put Mod Podge onto my canvas and then I will put the paper on, and then you'll see here in a minute exactly how I'm going to go about wrapping the paper around, because you want it to look neat. You don't want it to be sloppy. So I'll show you how I do that. Okay, now put the paper on and just smooth it out. I had luck with this not wrinkling. I know sometimes it can wrinkle, but I don't know if it was the paper or what it was, but I didn't have any trouble with any of it wrinkling. Okay, now the steps that I'm going to take to wrap this paper around so that it, looks neat is basically like how you wrap a gift. So I'm just going to use Mod Podge to also adhere the paper to the sides of the canvas as well. So just do each of the shorter ends. I'm going to trim that off a little bit because it's still a little bit long. And then I'm just going to fold the corners in, like I said, just the same as if you are wrapping a gift. And then I use the Mod Podge to secure the paper down on the sides as well. Okay, now I'm going to be taking these cute little ghosts and this smiling little pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern, and that's what the background is going to be in my busted canvas. So So I'm putting these cute little ghosts on here and then this smiling jack-o'-lantern. Okay, so I'm just going to determine my placement, and I decided I like how that looks. So I'm going to take the Mod Podge and I'm going to use it to adhere the window clings to my background. So I just put them on there on top of the Mod Podge. Don't need a very thick layer. And then I'm going to put some Mod Podge over the top because these window clings are shiny and the rest of the background isn't. So by putting the matte Mod Podge over top, it helps dull down that shininess so that they don't look odd on the background. Then I just use my hair dryer to help dry everything up faster. Okay, once that's dry, I have this set of battery operated lights. You can use whatever color you like. Mine are multicolored and they have just a really small battery pack for them. I ordered these through Temu, but you can get them off of Amazon, and just about any place really sells these. They have different size battery packs. Some of them you can also get that have these smaller ones, and I like them because they are easier to hide. And I'm just using my hot glue to secure the string lights to my background. And I measured before I started putting these on to determine how far in I needed to put them, because you want to make sure that you have enough space for your canvas to be glued onto your background. So I just worked my way all the way around. Then I've taken my X-Acto knife and just cutting a little slit so that I can feed the wire through, and that will make gluing everything together and hot gluing the battery pack to the back a lot easier. Won't have that wire in the way going in between the background and the canvas. And I'm just using some hot glue to help secure the lights in a few more places around the canvas, or I mean around the background. Okay, now once I get that done, then I can glue I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to cut my canvas now. So I'm just cutting slits. You can make however many slits you want. I just go around mine. I don't remember exactly how many times, but I wanted it to have, be like really busted. Okay, then once I have all of my cuts made, then I just take a pencil and I use it to roll each of the cut parts back. They're triangle shaped, my cut pieces are. And they're at various sizes. I don't have them all being the same size or anything. They're different. So I just roll those back. There's a couple places where I needed to cut the canvas just a little more so I could roll it back further. So I just went back in and done that, and then I just take some hot glue and secure the ends of each of my rolls onto the canvas just so that way they don't unravel. And now I can glue the background onto the back of the canvas, just securing that on there using some hot glue. Here we go, just like that. And then I'm going to use hot glue to glue the battery pack onto the back of the canvas. Oh, first I'm going to decorate the canvas. Oh, getting way ahead of myself here. So I'm just taking some Spanish moss and using hot glue, and I'm going to put that there. It'll look like the ghost and the jack-o'-lantern are sitting on top of the Spanish moss. And I'm using these little pumpkins that are vase filler. I'm just using those. There's two different sizes. There's some small ones and then some even smaller ones. And I'm just going to glue those into the Spanish moss. And so they'll just all be sitting there together, the little ghosts and the jack-o'-lantern and those little teeny tiny pumpkins. Okay, so now I'm going to take a piece of this buffalo check ribbon and I'm going to use it to make a hanger. This is just a part off of, I had already cut the ribbon in half for something else, and I'm just using the remainder of that for this. Okay, now I glued down the battery pack with the screws facing out so that I will be able to change the batteries, and then I glued a half bead on the opposite side of the battery pack so that it will sit flat against the wall, because otherwise it wanted to sit at an angle. Okay, now for this second project, I am going to be making an arrangement using this sign from the Dollar Tree. You can use whatever sign that you want to use that suits your decor. And I have this tin bucket that I got from Kroger, but you could also use ones for the Dollar Tree or a planter, whatever you have. And then I just glued some foam down into the bucket, and then I'm putting in a bag of beans to give it some weight so it doesn't fall over. I had originally planned on using 2 bags of beans, but there wasn't enough space in here. So on the opposite side, I just took this scarf that has like Halloween colors and I stuffed it down into the space on the other side and then wrapped it around to cover up the foam. And then I'm going to take this cute little jack-o'-lantern and I'm going to use some Mod Podge to put it onto the bucket. On the opposite side, there are some really, really pretty flowers and I wanted to keep those. So this is going to be sitting where I won't see the flowers, but I can always use it for something else, like for Valentine's Day, maybe. And then I'm going to take these, I'm not sure what they are called, but I really liked them. I thought they had a Halloween look to them. I ordered these from Temu and I got this really fiery orange color and then the black and white ones. And I just put those in there and just kind of draped them, just let them fall how they wanted to fall. And then I'm taking this ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree and I'm just wrapping it around until I run out of ribbon. And then I'm going to take this a piece of ribbon here. It's orange and says Boo. I ordered it from Temu and I'm just going to tie it in the center. This is just going to be a simple bow, but it's still, cute to go on my sign. So I just fluff it out and then I'm going to cut the tails off of the other bow that's sticking out because it just doesn't look right on there. So just hide those tails, cut them off and get them out of the way. And then I just put some hot glue on and stick it to the bottom of the sign. Such a simple arrangement, but makes a great impact. Okay, for this thirst project, I am making a glow-in-the-dark ghost. You could use whatever kind of jar you want, such as a mason jar or a spaghetti jar, whatever you have. This is an Nescafe jar is what it is. So I'm just taking a piece of white felt and I'm cutting it the length of my jar and then the width is minus an inch. So my jar was 5.5 inches, and so then my piece of white felt was 5.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And then I'm taking this glow in the dark glue by Elmer's and I am putting it onto the white felt. I have found it was easier to take the top off and then squeeze the glue out that way and then spread it all around. And then I took my piece of felt out and set it in the sun so that way it could dry. You could also use a hair dryer if you want to, or just do this ahead of time and then let it sit for a while. Now I put some hot glue down into my jar and then I took some Spanish moss and I'm using the end of a paintbrush to get the Spanish moss to stick into the hot glue so it's down the bottom of the jar. And then I decided to take a magic marker because it is bigger on the bottom and it would be able to press down more of the Spanish moss. So then I just put a little more hot glue in and a little more of the Spanish moss and use that marker to help tap it down so it'll stay down into the bottom of the jar and not come up the sides so much. Then I'm going to take some of these little pumpkins and I'm going to use those to put down into the bottom of the jar in the Spanish moss. You could use whatever you want to put down into yours. You could use a modeling clay to make like little mushrooms or whatever your heart desires. Acorns, I made a bigger one like this and the acorns fit into it, but this one was a little too small for any of the acorns I had. They just looked really big and out of place. So I did make a bigger one and used a small acorn in it. Okay, then once I get all of that in there, then I can get to work on my ghost so that I can put him in there. So I'm going to take these 2 wood pieces, they're half wood rounds, and I'm going to glue those together. Now, if you have a whole bead or you have a whole wood round, or like a little ball, then you can use that. A piece of styrofoam, a round styrofoam ball would work as well, but this is what I had. So then I took that, now this is my piece of felt that the glue is dried on. So I just put a little dab of glue on there and then put my felt around it. And now I'm just trimming it because it is a little bit longer than what I wanted it to be for this jar. So I just cut it down and then I just use a permanent marker to draw some eyes onto my ghost. Then once I have those done, then I can put my ghost down into the jar. And then I'm going to use the end of a paintbrush to make sure that I get, his little ghost body put back in behind the pumpkins instead of being draped over. Then I'm going to take some ribbon and some jute twine and I'm just going to make a simple bow. I'm going to wrap it around my hands, I don't know, maybe 4 times. And then I took another piece of jute twine and tied it in the center just to make this simple, messy kind of bow. And I'm going to glue that onto the lid of my jar. I like these jars because the color of the lid, it it doesn't look, it fits in with the Halloween decor, or even for fall, it's a dark brown color and it just fits in. So in the center of my bow, then I glued down some Spanish moss, and then I am going to take one of the smallest pumpkins from the vase filler, and I'm going to glue that on top of the Spanish moss. Here we go. Now let's take one final look at all of these projects.
Halloween night, it's spooky and it's fun. Ghosts and goblins, everyone. Let's celebrate this eerie night with candy costumes and a fright. A black cat crosses my path, a bad omen they say. A creepy old house where ghosts like to play. I'm not afraid, but I'm feeling a little strange as I wander through this Halloween range. Halloween night, it's spooky and it's fun. Ghosts and goblins, everyone.
Okay, that's all for this video. Don't forget to check the description box for the playlist of all of the contributors involved in the Not So Scary Halloween Challenge. Also, don't forget to go and check out Janice and Krista's channels. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.